Hi, it's me again with Corel Drill Tips and Tricks, and this is part 2 of this. So I've got these all grouped together. I've got them in the center page. I'm going to get the ellipse tool, holding down the control button. Then I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. Wow. And my triangles are kind of symmetrical because it fits on there pretty good. You could play around with that. Now we need to draw this. And this is a number of ways you could draw it, but my favorite drawing pin is the 2-point line. And I'm just going to draw a line from there to there. And then select it all and right click and turn it into, well, it's already a curve. And then I'm going to hit it with the shape tool. And I'm going to start moving some of these nodes around. Now we need to add a node right there, so I'm going to left click, double left click, and then you can move these handles. And I'm not going to take a lot of time, but we want this one to be kind of straight up and down when it finishes. And you could spend a lot of time on this, but because we're making it the same size as our drawing from the triangles, it should work out perfectly. So let's call that good. Let's Control D and make a duplicate of it. Holding down the control button, grab that handle right there and make that. Now we can, for an instant, we can nudge that out of the way and we've got this shape. I'm going to weld it together so now it's all one piece. I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. And then I'm going to hold down the control button and I'm going to bring it up to the top. Make sure it's kind of on the line and it's not. So now I'm going to remember 9 inches. I'm going to change my nudge factor to 0.001 and I'm going to nudge this thing down to the line. Now I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate. And this is something you really need to bring in indexing lines because those triangles are going to mess you up. So if you do this, and now you're in the center, we need to rotate it 45 degrees. Control D, 90 degrees, Control D, and we're pretty much dead on. Okay, now we can change the line thickness later. So now we need another circle. So let's get the ellipse tool, or we can make a copy of this, Control D and make a duplicate. Holding down the shift button and growing from the corners to get to that point. Now, mathematically, I thought, because there's 8 of these and there's 16 of these. Well, it didn't transpire that way. So I'm just going to make one and then make it that size. It's not 50% of the size in length. Now, when we do this, there's a pretty neat little trick. I'm just going to kind of squash it up, get it close. Now you see I'm moving both sides at one time. And that's not a good thing, or I'm moving one side at a time. So this thing is not going to be equal. But what we can do, let's change our nudge factor on 9 inches. And let's take this object that I drew and nudge it out of the way. Zoom in here. Because it's not equal, Control D and make a duplicate and then mirror it. It's pretty close. It's a lot closer than I had it the first time. And so I'm going to call that good. Now let's nudge it back the 9 inches twice. Well, we don't have to do that. We can hit P, put it in the center of the page. Let me zoom in here and grab it, holding down the control button so it's perfectly on center. Put our nudge factor back to something low, 0.001, and then nudge it up. Now you could use step and repeat in this scenario, and we're going to do that. We're going to change the center to the center. And we're going to go to Edit, Step and repeat, open up that Docker. Sorry about that. No, that's find and replace. We want to go to Windows, Dockers, transformation, rotation. We want to go 22.5 degrees, and we want 15 copies because you already got one. Bam, we're done. Now we can change all the outlines to thicker. What we can do, we can nudge this guy out of the way, 9 inches. Take all these outlines and make them that, and I'm using somebody else's program, so I need to, if you're a laser engraver, you need to change it to RGB, and then make it that 2 points. And I would scale it to object. And then you could nudge these back. So in about, 5 minutes, I drew that. Now, I'm missing a triangle for the person I'm doing it from, but that'll give you an idea how to, get, now if you've already got it grouped together, you have to ungroup it. I have to grab that, go up to object group and ungroup to be able to get rid of that little excess, and I think that's what his problem was. Sorry about that. Well, I guarantee it works. You know what? We might have to change it to a outline. Let's change this to a object, and now it should work. That's probably the key. There we go. And you're done. I hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.